I'd accidentally went on a date with someone who thought I was their other Tinder match. She kept dropping references to a life I never lived. Mid-date, I asked, "What's my name?" She said Jake, and my world crashed. Now we're still dating, and I'm saved as not Jake. I'm still trying to wrap my head around how it all started. A simple swipe right on Tinder that led to one of the most awkward and weirdly enough enjoyable dates of my life. My name is Alex Chen. I'm 27 years old, and I work as a software engineer in a small startup. I'm not your typical dating app user, but I figured, why not? It's a good way to meet new people, and who knows, maybe I'll find someone interesting. It was a couple of months ago when I matched with this girl on Tinder. Her name was Emily, and she seemed normal enough, cute, witty, and we had a few mutual interests. We started chatting, exchanging messages about our jobs, hobbies, and favorite TV shows. It was all pretty standard stuff. I was a bit surprised when she asked me to grab coffee, but I thought, why not? It's not every day you get to meet someone new, especially in a city where it's hard to make friends as an adult. We agreed to meet at a cute local coffee shop, and I was looking forward to it. I got there a bit early, ordered a latte, and was sipping on it when Emily walked in. She gave me a quick hug and said, "Wow, you look even better than your hiking pics." Now here's the thing, I don't hike. Like, I don't even walk briskly. I'm more of a take the elevator instead of the stairs kind of guy. But I just nodded and laughed it off, thinking maybe she had mistaken me for someone else, or I had mentioned hiking in passing and I just forgot. As we sat down, Emily started talking about her job as a graphic designer and her love for art. It all seemed pretty normal until she mentioned something about my dog. "Your dog is so cute. What was his name again? Bentley?" I was taken aback. I don't have a dog, never have. I've always been more of a cat person, but I just laughed it off again, thinking maybe I had mentioned a friend's dog or something. Things only got weirder from there. She started talking about how I used to live in Colorado, and I was like, no, I've never even been west of Kansas. I was starting to feel like I was losing my mind. Was I really this person she thought I was? Or was she just messing with me? At this point, I was trying to figure out what was going on. Was I just having a weird day? Or was Emily actually mistaking me for someone else? I decided to play it cool and see where things went. We kept chatting, and I tried to steer the conversation back to safer topics. Our jobs, our families, and our favorite movies. As we sipped our lattes, I couldn't help but think about how weird this all was. I had a feeling that something was off, but I didn't want to assume anything. Maybe I was just being paranoid. Maybe Emily was actually a nice person, and we just had a weird conversation. But as the date went on, I couldn't shake off the feeling that something was not quite right. And then, mid-latte, I decided to ask her the question that would change everything. "Hey, just to clarify, what's my name?" I was hoping she would say something like, "Oh, it's Alex," and we could just move on. But instead, she looked confused and said, "Jake?" My heart sank. My name is not Jake. I've never been Jake. I've always been Alex. And in that moment, I knew something was very wrong. We just stared at each other for a solid 5 seconds, and I could feel my face getting hot. And then, to my surprise, Emily burst out laughing. "I'm so sorry," she said, still chuckling. "I was messaging 2 guys at once, and I mixed you up. I thought you were Jake this whole time, but I was vibing too hard to stop." I was taken aback, but at the same time, I couldn't help but laugh. It was just so ridiculous. We ended up finishing our coffee, laughing about it, and weirdly enough, we're still dating. She now has me in her phone as not Jake. I'm not sure what the future holds, but for now, I'm just going to enjoy the ride. After all, it's not every day you get to be part of a dating disaster story. The date takes a turn. I'm sitting across from Emily, sipping on my latte, trying to make small talk, and she's firing off questions and comments that leave me feeling like I'm stuck in some kind of bizarre dream. We were having a pretty normal conversation, or so I thought, until she said, "So I love your hiking pics. You look even better in person." I'm a software engineer, not a outdoorsy type, and I definitely don't hike. I nodded and laughed it off, thinking maybe she was just trying to be nice. But then she started mentioning more and more things that didn't apply to me. "I'm so glad you're not a dog person. I have a friend who's allergic to dogs." And then she says, "Oh, your dog Bentley is so cute. What's his favorite toy?" I'm taken aback, my mind racing. I don't have a dog. I've never had a dog. I've never even been around dogs that much, except for my friend's Labrador Retriever that I occasionally dog sit for. I try to play it cool, but my unease grows. Yeah, dogs are great," I say. trying to deflect. But she keeps going. So I heard you used to live in Colorado. What made you move back to Kansas? I'm flabbergasted. I've never lived in Colorado. I've never even been west of Kansas. I went to college in Kansas City, and I've been here ever since. The moment of truth, I still recall the exact words I spoke, the tone I used, and the look on her face when I asked, "Hetty, just to clarify, what's my name?" It was a casual question, one that I thought would clear up any confusion, but little did I know it would change everything. Emily's expression shifted from relaxed to perplexed in a split second. She furrowed her brow and her eyes darted slightly to the side as if searching for an answer in her mental Rolodex. The pause that followed felt like an eternity. I sipped my latte, my eyes locked on hers, waiting for her response. "Jake?" she said finally, her voice laced with a hint of uncertainty. My heart skipped a beat. "Jake, that wasn't my name. I'm Alex Chen, a 27-YEAR-OLD software engineer from Kansas City. I'd never been called Jake in my life. The realization hit me like a ton of bricks. She thought I was someone else. My mind reeled as I processed this new information. I thought back to our conversation, to all the things she'd said that didn't make sense. The hiking, the dog named Bentley, the claims about living in Colorado, it all added up now. She'd been talking to someone else, someone named Jake, and she'd gotten us mixed up. I felt a mix of emotions, amusement, confusion, and a dash of frustration. The most epic Tinder mix-up in my dating life. My name is Alex Chen. I'm 27 years old, and I'm a software engineer living in San Francisco. I'm not exactly the most active guy on Tinder, but I've had my fair share of matches and dates. None of them, however, have been as memorable as my recent encounter with Emily. As I reflect on that fateful coffee date, I still chuckle to myself. It all started when Emily asked to meet at a quaint coffee shop in the Mission District. I arrived early, sipped on a latte, and waited for her to arrive. When she walked in, I was struck by her bright smile and infectious laugh. We exchanged a quick hug, and she said, "Wow, you look even better than your hiking pics." I smiled and nodded, thinking to myself, I don't actually hike. But I didn't want to ruin the vibe, so I just laughed it off. Things only got stranger from there. As we sat down, Emily started mentioning things that made zero sense to me. "Your dog is so cute. What was his name again? Bentley?" I was taken aback, thinking, I don't have a dog, let alone one named Bentley. Then she mentioned how I used to live in Colorado. I was born and raised in the Bay Area, and I'd never even been west of Kansas. I started to wonder if I was losing my mind, or if Emily was just not paying attention. As we chatted, I tried to piece together what was happening. I asked her a few questions, trying to gauge her interest and get a sense of what she was looking for. But every time I thought we were having a normal conversation, she'd say something that threw me off. It wasn't until mid-latte, when I asked her to clarify my name, that things took a dramatic turn. "Hey, just to clarify, what's my name?" I asked, trying to play it cool. She looked confused, and her response sent my mind reeling. "Jake?" The unexpected twist. As we continued to talk and laugh, I found myself feeling more and more at ease with Emily. The initial awkwardness had dissipated, replaced by a sense of comfort and familiarity. We discovered that we shared a similar sense of humor, and our conversations flowed effortlessly. I was surprised by how much I enjoyed her company, despite the rocky start. As we sipped our lattes, Emily pulled out her phone and smiled mischievously. "I'm going to save your number," she said, "but I think I need to give you a nickname." She typed away, then showed me the screen. My contact information was now saved as "Not Jake." I chuckled, feeling a sense of relief wash over me. This was definitely a unique dating experience. We decided to go on another date, and I was excited to see where things would go. As we parted ways, Emily leaned in and kissed me on the cheek. "I'm glad I mixed you up with Jake," she whispered, her eyes sparkling with mischief. The days turned into weeks, and our casual encounters turned into something more serious. Emily and I started dating, exploring the city and getting to know each other. It wasn't always easy, but we laughed together, and that's what mattered. We became each other's safe haven, a place where we could be ourselves, without fear of judgment. Looking back, I realized that I was just as guilty as Emily for playing the dating game. I'd been messaging multiple people on Tinder, hoping to find someone special. But in that moment, when Emily said my name was Jake, something shifted. I realized that I wanted to get to know her, not just as a potential date, but as a person. Our story was far from over, but I knew that I wanted to be a part of it, and and as I looked into Emily's eyes, I saw a spark of recognition. We were in this together, for better or for worse. The future and uncertainty. As I sit on my couch staring at the ceiling, I find myself pondering the future, and wondering what it holds for Emily and me. Our relationship has been a whirlwind of emotions, and I'm still trying to process everything that's happened. The what-ifs and maybes swirl in my head, leaving me with a sense of uncertainty and possibility. I think back to that first date, when Emily mistook me for Jake, and I feel a chuckle rising to the surface. It's still surreal to think about how things could have gone so wrong, but instead they went right. I've been trying to get to know Emily better, and it's been a wild ride. We have a similar sense of humor, and we always seem to find common ground. Our conversations flow easily, and I feel like I'm really getting to know her. But despite our connection, I still can't shake the feeling that our relationship is a bit unconventional. I mean, who meets someone on Tinder, gets mistaken for another guy, and then decides to date them anyway? Only us, I suppose. As I reflect on our time together, I realize that we've had some amazing moments. We went on a hike, not a hike actually, but more like a leisurely walk, through the park, laughing and joking like old friends. We tried a new restaurant, and Emily introduced me to the best burger I'd ever had. We even went to a concert, singing along to our favorite songs like we knew each other for years. It's been a blast, but I still wonder what the future holds. Will we be able to overcome the rocky start to our relationship? Can we build something strong and meaningful? Or will our unconventional beginning tear us apart? I glance over at my phone, where Emily's contact information is saved as, "Not Jake." It's a silly reminder of how we met, but it's also a testament to our ability to laugh at ourselves and not take things too seriously. I've been thinking about our conversations, and I've noticed that Emily tends to open up to me in ways that surprise me. She talks about her job, her family, and her dreams, and I feel like I'm really getting to know her. But at the same time, I sense that there's still a lot she doesn't share with me. I wonder what she's hiding, and whether I'll ever get to see the real her. As I ponder these questions, I realize that I'm falling for Emily hard. I'm excited to see where our relationship will go, but I'm also scared. What if we're just a fling, a novelty act that's fun for now but won't last? What if we're trying to force something that isn't meant to be? The only thing I can do is take things one day at a time, enjoy the ride, and see where it takes us. And who knows, maybe someday I'll even start hiking. But for now, I'm just happy to be along for the ride.